it's day 4 of the Rewire, and if you look closely, car's buttoned back together. As soon as we get the seats and stuff back in here, I'll come through and show you what all we did. But whole new fuse panel is wired in with a bunch of solid state relays. Got some new chargers for our cameras and GPS. Dash is all back in, and screws. We had to take all the plastics off to get to all the wiring, so we've got about 300 screws conservatively to put back in. As far as rewiring, we are done. And it's nice to see, but the next big lift after this is we're going to 4-corner the car, pull all the suspension out, put new bushings in, rebuild the shocks, rebuild the axles, and really just get everything ready for that San Felipe 250. Starting to look like a race car again, not so much a piece of shit. We added the lights on top. Big point of these is not so much running them at night, is we're going to run these in the day. What that does is you get light above the dust and ensures that people we're chasing down can actually see us. Couple that with right up under here, we've added in the siren. Can't really see it unless you come in here from the side. See this monster of a speaker right here pointed right out the front? That's the siren. We got another piece in here that is an amplifier for it, gives it that full 200 watts of siren power. And that's really what you can see on the front. Let's move around to the back. The camera, if you watched the previous video, you saw that we relocated it. When we had it up here, there's actually just enough give in here that this wobbles when it had that extra weight on it. Without that extra weight on it there, it doesn't wobble at all. So we moved that up there. We can see a little bit of this bar in the screen, but for what we're looking for, it'll be fine. And really on this side, we've not done a whole lot. The big gist of what's been done is inside the cab. So I'm gonna climb in and then we'll show you around inside. Here's the dash. I'm gonna have Mike come over here so I can actually show you what we've got going on. Okay, we've relocated a few things. Before, we had all the switches up here, but then our siren, some other stuff was down here, and our master power switch was over here on the side. That's not really the best place to put it because for whatever reason we roll, we crash, I get knocked unconscious, he's not able to shut off the car. So what we're gonna do, or what we've done, is move that over here to the center so that we can both reach it. And realistically, if you read most rule books, that's the spec. Fire some stuff up here real quick. We've got our fish box, that's what we call the radio. That's our intercom, I should say. There's nothing else in there, and on the package switch that says ICS. So we got the fish box, and that powers up our intercom system. Radio, we end up getting the actual radio turned on. That's our pumper. You hear this thing start whining real bad here in a second. Nice and pretty. Well, yeah, we do run the mag locks. Super handy to have those. Makes them nice to store. Kill the pumper for now. On the outside, we've got the roof lights. Mind your eyes there, John. Yep. Yeah, those are the lights that we put on. They're pretty damn bright. Take those out.
Say hi.
Rock lights. Realistically, we don't run with rock lights. What it lets me do is it just gives the team an easy setup for looking for damage and stuff when we come into the pits in an after dark situation. Camera again, we've got that wired, powered on. Now we could have wired that in and ran the control button from up here, but it's just easier down here. But the bigger piece of this is when you're driving at night, this, even on its lowest setting, is going to be too bright. One thing you'll notice, you can kind of see it's been taped around here. I used some clear packing tape and kind of sealed the edges. Number one killers of these things off-road is a shit ton of dust. So by sealing all the edges, I'm not letting any dust in there, and it should run fine. But what I was saying about the brightness is at night, with here, and my line of vision is like right here, that actually defeats my night vision and I'm not able to see as well at night. So what we do is when it gets dark, we just turn it off. And then I'm relying on my mirrors and the bars. I will know somebody's coming because light starts reflecting where it shouldn't reflect more often than this camera will be of any help. GPS. Now that's going to run our mob armor, or sorry, our dual X Pro GPS 160 or something like that in that mob armor case, and just pushing that button fires that up. And then a siren is hold your fucking ears. fuck, that's loud. Especially inside. That's I mean, I've ran a few different sirens on a few different race cars, and it's dramatically different. And we could actually compare it to the pre-runner over there, because the pre-runner has the siren that we ran in the original car. That's got that Phoenix Storm in it. And it's a good siren, but I really think this one's louder.
100, this is a 200.
That one's only 100 watts? Okay. So this is a 200 watts, and it's if you want to know what siren this is, let me know, because it was only like 60 bucks for the whole thing. Fantastic. But the rest of them are switches. I reorganized some of these because unlike some people, I really like changing my dynamic power steering. If I got a lot of straights, I use like a medium power steering. If we're in the tight switchbacks, I use a max, and then I just cycle through low. And then the rest of these, I don't really mess with a whole lot, especially while we're driving, but I can still reach them if I need to. Just put it in 4 and leave it. Well, other than that, I mean, watch the dash. Yeah, so you got our logo come up, runs off map racing through the center of the dash. And then up here, what we've got is it's a pretty intense system. We get our belt temp, batteries, clutch temp. We get the boost PSI. Our engine oil pressure is very crucial. And then out right here is huge, to 1/10 of the gallon accurate for how much is coming out of this tank. And we have 22 usable gallons of fuel. So there's our front lights. And then the high beams are on the bar. So when you've got them all running, that is a metric ton of light coming out of there, and I just blinded everybody. Then on the back, if you take a look out back, you can see the chase lights are running. Amber and blue, so we're 2 spec. In here, the only other things that really matter, we've got a variable controller for our pumper. And then here's how we charge our iPad. We've got 2 of these. We only need 1 of them at a time, but the other one's a backup. For whatever reason, these things are cheap. They fail sometimes. Past that, we've got some decent little visors. That's about it for in here. It's been a hell of a thing. Can't help but thank my co-driver Mike, who's running the camera. My reserve driver John, standing over there looking grumpy. It's just his face. It was a real push to get this done as quick as we did, and I can't thank those guys enough. Appreciate you.
Well, here we are again. Another episode of off-map racing in the garage. You can go ahead and trim that fucker. Why don't you just do it? Don't make me do this shit.